Barbados, attempting a 92-meter national record in constant weight.
And what you are seeing here right now is Alex Davis, a professional free diver and spear fisherman, heading to his record dive. This was a record dive for Barbados. So
correct. Yeah.
Some amazing stuff here from Alex. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning.
Good to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Tell us exactly what we're seeing right now.
So this year's Vertical Blue Freediving Competition, which is the big competition they hold in the Bahamas every year. This year they had a piece of equipment called Dive Eye. So they had this underwater drone that, as you can see, is following the diver down. So you can see in the bottom corner, you've got the current depth, 60 meters, you've got my name, you've got the Barbados flag, and it says right there the elapsed dive time and what my target is going to be. So this was a new national record for Barbados of 92 meters, that's 301 feet. And the great thing about this Dive Eye drone is that you can literally see the entire dive. So no more, seeing the diver disappear 60 feet and then coming back up a few minutes later. With this technology, you can actually see them come right down. So here you see I'm very, very, very close to hitting that 300-foot mark. It's just about 5 meters away now. So as you can see in Dean's Blue Hole, it's extremely dark at the bottom. It's completely pitch black as far as I can tell, except for the torches that we have on the bottom. So we have to turn around at the bottom. We have to grab a piece of Velcro to prove that we made it to the required depth. And we have to bring that Velcro back up to the surface. So really at this point, my dive is now beginning. I'm now coming back up.
Your dive is now beginning?
Well, the descent is quite relaxing. This part is where you're now wide awake and like, okay, I need to get back to the surface. Okay. So for me, this is what I would say is where it begins, is when you're coming back up.
So, and all of this is one breath?
Correct, yeah. Yeah, one breath of air. Yeah.
Are you at all scared when you're doing this?
No, no. Every human on the planet has something called a dive reflex. So we all have this ability to hold our breath and dive really deep. It's just a case of training and tuning into that reflex.
Okay.
Am I scared? Not usually. It's normally after a dive, all the emotions come flooding in. Before a dive, I'm trying to stay relaxed and keep my mind clear. We really don't ever want any sort of negative thoughts going through our mind before a dive, because any negative thought before a dive will often carry with you and it makes the whole thing stressful.
Okay.
So these dives, I'm often just completely relaxed. My mind is usually quite clear. I'm just focusing on my technique, my breath hold, just trying to complete the dive.
So this competition was in the Bahamas. How many
Correct.
people were you competing against at that point in time?
Really just myself. These kind of freediving competitions, we really just compete for our own dives. We're not really looking to compete with the others, but this one in the Bahamas is called Vertical Blue. It's often called the Wimbledon of freediving. It's like the biggest freediving competition that they have anywhere. This year we had 44 athletes. We had 29 men from, I think, over 20 different countries. So yeah, really just want to say a big thanks to my sponsor, Ryan from Synergist. You can see I've got it on the shirt here, for enabling me to go to this competition and represent Barbados and kind of bring these new national records home for us. Overall, I placed 6th. So 300 foot was the deepest dive I did. I placed 6th. And the next guy that came in first did well over 400 feet.
Okay.
So it gives you an idea that a 300-foot dive doesn't even get you on the podium at this comp. So it's the caliber of the competition is fantastic, and I think it's one of my favorite places in the world to dive.
Is free diving like growing here in Barbados? Are you seeing more people wanting to explore something like that? I'll admit to you, I don't think I have the cojones for that. That is something amazing there, but more people getting involved in the sport?
Definitely. I think we're seeing a lot of people that come from, that start out spearfishing and that get way more into the freediving side of it, where either they want to try and shoot bigger, better fish, or whether or not they just get really into the actual freediving side of it. It's great fun hunting, it's great fun, shooting lionfish or any other type of fish. But when you get that self-satisfaction out of doing a deep dive, and it just kind of taps into something deep down inside of us that we kind of can't really explain, and that satisfaction we get is kind of like, almost like chasing the dragon. Every time you dive, you kind of get this really satisfied, kind of happy feeling, and we're always kind of going back for more and more and more.
Okay, tell us about the spearfishing side of things now, because you mentioned lionfish there. I remember one time when the lionfish, there were like a species invading
Yep.
the waters of the region.
Yeah, that's
Now, I think that we are hunting them so much that you're not hearing that rhetoric anymore.
We're still getting a lot of them. They seem to come in kind of waves almost. There's still a lot of spearfishing going on, both scuba and freediving. We're always after the lionfish. In fact, since I've been back from the competition, even with crop over, I had crop over day off, but otherwise I've been back to work and back diving, getting lionfish. I think that it's something that is growing quite well within the island, and I'm definitely seeing a trend towards people really focusing on their freediving side of things as a means to improving their spearfishing. You know, they clearly want to dive deeper, or they want to hunt a better fish or reach the bottom, and we're seeing more people kind of focusing on taking a step back and improving not only their technique with freediving, but their safety.
How do you train for something like this?
So taking a certified course is always going to be the very sort of best way to kind of get better at anything. So we often see a lot of people coming and doing like a 2-day freediving course, learning how to hold their breath longer, be safer in the water, recognize when things go wrong, recognize how to rescue someone if it does get to that point. But more so it's about their technique, their relaxation, their ability to equalize their ears and still dive underwater. And then they take those new skills, they go back into the water with the spear gun, and all of a sudden they're deeper, or they're staying down longer, or they're now having more fun doing something they already really enjoyed.
Well, Alex, you're flying the Bajan flag high. That's
Yep.
so amazing. How can more people get involved? I know that you're working to raise the awareness about this sport
Yep.
Here in Barbados.
Yeah, so we're kind of at the final stages now of setting up the Barbados Freediving Association, which will be a non-profit freediving association for the island. We've got some big plans coming up for next year. The association, we're still waiting for the final bits of paperwork, so I don't want to say too much too soon, but we do have some big plans for the sport of freediving within Barbados. We want to make it more than just a recreational, activity you do with your friends. We want to make this something where you can actually train and you can meet new people. There is plans in the works for a potential competition in Barbados, the first of its kind. So there's lots of things coming, and we really want to do this correctly and kind of grow the sport in the right way. We want people involved that are going to be ambassadors for the sport in the island.
So where do you go next in terms of these competitions, these freediving competitions?
This one in the Bahamas is my absolute favorite place in the world to freedive. Dean's Blue Hole in the Bahamas is, as you can see in some of these photos here, is this beautiful blue hole that right off the beach drops to like 660 feet deep. It's amazing for freediving. In Carlisle Bay, we have about 120 feet, so it's good for training, but only about a third of what I need.
Not enough.
Not enough. But it's fantastic for training. It's really good for learning, and it's really good for kind of perfecting techniques so that when you do go to these deeper places, everything's ready and you're good to go. So,
and do you also do the training for some of these people coming into the world of freediving?
I do. I mean, I train the students I have locally, whether that's expats or just local Barbados citizens. But when it comes to these sorts of competitions, when we go to these competitions, we're all kind of being safe for each other. We're all kind of helping each other out when we need to. But most of the guys at this particular comp are professionals in their own right or instructors in their own right. So it's one of those really great kind of melting pots for like improving not only the sport but yourself.
Okay, well, I think for freediving, you must learn to swim as well. Swimming has to be a very important part of it. So swimming classes available as well?
Well, we don't teach swimming classes, but the Aquatic Centre has a lot of instructors that do a fantastic job there. But yeah, I mean, once you're into the sport, you can then take a course, learn the kind of key skills from there and kind of get that 2-day foundation in, so that when you go back into the ocean or when you go back into the pool, you'll be diving better, holding your breath longer, safer, et cetera, et cetera. So we talked about the deep dive, the 92-meter constant weight. That's with our fins, and that was 300 feet. But we set 4 national records in total over the event, but we have 3 different depth disciplines. So in this one here, you can see I'm kind of holding the rope. So we have one discipline where we pull ourselves down the line and pull ourselves back to the surface. We call this free immersion. This discipline I did 81 meters, which is 265 feet. And then the final discipline, we do completely no fins. So you're completely bare of anything. You have to do kind of breaststroke, if you will. So no fins down, no fins back up. I did 55 meters, which is 180 feet.
Wow, amazing stuff. I thank you, Alex Davis. He is a professional freediver and spearfisherman. You can get involved. We will keep you in contact with him. He is, as you said, setting up that non-for-profit organization which will be promoting freediving right here in Barbados. We will give you the details so that you can get involved in the fun and really be courageous and take the dive with Alex. And we want to see it here on Morning Barbados as well.